We live on this thing? Test one, two. Test one, two. Mic check. All right, I guess we're live. Wow, it's been a little bit. I'm testing out OBS here, which is one of the podcast platforms that everybody in America, no, everybody in the world uses, since everybody in the entire nation has a podcast. So I'm just going to add to the stack. Now, I've had um, a YouTube channel, I've had a written blog, I've had a podcast over the course of the past 3, 4, 5 years. I've taken a couple years off because of the pandemic. I did it a little bit during the pandemic, but the past 2 years for sure I've been off. But I still have been tweeting a lot. I tweet a lot. I'm a tweeter. The problem is, it takes a while to make money on Twitter. I'm going to get on into talking about Elon today. Now, the one thing Elon does well is he clearly knows how to make money better than I do. Clearly. So he's got that going for him. But I wanted to say that, it's really hard in the current market to go out independently and do this stuff and to be confident about it and to have things to say. And there's a lot of work that goes into that for a lot of people, and it takes a tremendous amount of just desire to speak to the world. So anybody who's done this and who has a podcast, I got to give you props because it's not easy to do that, and I know a lot of people have them. But to get to the point, the problem with, well, the one thing that's always bothered me about all of these is how hard it is to make money on these platforms. On all of them, it's just hard. It's competitive and it's hard. The hope, as we get into this, is that Musk is able to help content creators, give them access, easier access to being able to make money. Because I have ADD, I have ADHD, and doing all these complicated things, like I want to be able to just push a button and talk. That's why I loved Periscope. I tweeted that earlier. Because there aren't all these bells and whistles. You just hit a button and you talk. It was a magnificent thing. It really was. Because I'm not a big planner. I like to just hop on and talk. A lot of people need planning. Maybe most people need planning. I don't. I just like to talk. And whatever the topic is, we go. So I see some people signing in here who used to watch my Mandela Effect. What's up, Johan? In the chat. But to get to the point, I think that, I did a podcast right as Elon was starting his run at Twitter back in October. That was my last podcast. I intend to do it more regularly very soon. And I talked about, what it could be like with him and what the future of Twitter and other social media platforms could actually be. Now, when you bring someone, let's just get right into it. When you bring someone like Musk into Twitter, Twitter is a different zone. It is a different realm than rocketeering, than Tesla electric carring, whatever you would call that. Even then, what he's got, the Boring Company too. It's just different. By the way, I'm a big fan of all his companies. I know people. One thing I don't understand is if he's doing not so great job at Twitter, in my opinion, I don't start then not liking his other companies. I don't have that blended, blended brain thing where people think if he's doing a bad job one way, then he's doing a bad job on everything. No, the guy is a brilliant and I've said this in tweets a million times. He's a brilliant scientist and engineer. And a businessman, apparently. And the richest guy in the world. Yeah. So he's good at that. But Twitter, when you're in this realm, it's quite a different it's quite a different skill set from what a scientist and engineer would need, would be. A scientist and engineer is doing other things. They're looking at um, physical things, and they're thinking about how they can make that useful in the world. This physical thing, and they're not so much looking at um, the wider opinion view, which is what social media consists of. They're more looking at how do I make this car so it can do better things for the world? How do I design this car? And that's not what social media is. Social media is seeing the wide spectrum of everybody and working from there. And the problem is he's really struggling that he's struggling with that way more than I thought he would, because he's a great scientist and engineer, and it's a different skill set. Now he may get better. I don't. I would not be. I'm all over Musk. I'm like his toughest critic. Well, one of his toughest critics, like on Twitter, only because I care about Twitter. That's why. Because I care about Twitter. And he has come over, and he fired all those people, which I didn't like, and he came in and she changed to a new verified system, which I get it. I get the new verified system. It verifies you, your identity in the world. It's you, my identity. It verified me. And he says, cuts down on the bots, though I don't think that's happened yet. So I get that. But again, I don't think that type of verification is the best type of verification for social media. I think that the left has it right. I think you need more of the groupthink. And I know that can be seen as superficial or whatever, but you know what? Like, I mean, things like that realm is a different world. Social media is a different world, and there has to be a way to understand who's credible and who's not. And I get it, everybody's credible as a human in what they're doing, and they're verified as them. You're verified as yourself. That's great. But there has to be something so that the greater world can see who's working where, I get that you can get that on a profile, but people can imitate. There's just so many ways around that there has to be some type of a system in place to be able to see that. And he took that away, and I didn't think he should take that away. I think that he should leave that and hire a committee to monitor that. And if he wants his verified system, give it a different color check or give it something else for that badge, because it's a different thing. Okay? It's just a different system. And then you get, he's bringing the capitalism, selling, because Twitter needs to make money. So he's doing whatever he can to make Twitter more money, because it's all about money, which is good for what Twitter needs right now. I get that. But there's got to be more at play here than making money. So he's done that. The first thing is he's done that to the verification system, and that needs to go back and be looked at again, because people aren't happy with that. I'm not happy with it. I could navigate the platform much easier with the prior system. And I get it that some people don't want to hear that, but it's true. And I could sit down here and I could draw up exactly why this system works better than the other one for social media. It would take me a while. I would have to think through it and show you exactly. But in my opinion, his system is not the better verification system. It doesn't mean you can't utilize it, and it's used in other places, but you got to have that other system in place, or it's just chaos. There has to be some group organization, some tribal group organization within social media. That's just natural humans. See, and I've said this many times. Keep my computer on over here. I've said this many times. Conservatives and Republicans think more towards independent think, like just my own thinking. I'm independent. This is my thinking. And liberals and Democrats tend to go more into the group think, and both versions of thinking are right, but they're often used in the wrong place. So you use independent think in a situation where there should be groupthink, and you use groupthink in a situation where there should be independent think. Both are useful in certain situations, but because we're all humans and humans are, a little bit all over the place, we get that wrong all too often. So got to go back and look at the verification system. That's one. Okay. Two is money. I get he's trying to find ways to make money. And by the way, one other thing about the verification system, when you're verified in his system, you also get all the perks. So he's selling you being able to, I don't know, longer tweets, post longer videos. You get all these things with that. And, he's selling you on that. I don't have a problem with that, actually, because I don't care about the check. I just want the perks. So, like, I would buy it just for the perks, because it lets me see everything better, and I get to more freedom with tweets. And if I'm working on Twitter and on it this much, I want as good of, I want to be working, utilizing it as best I can. And if you're on Twitter all day long and you won't give him $8, why are you still on Twitter? I mean, you're not utilizing the platform as strong as you can be, especially if you're not at a big news organization or something. Like, if you're independently, I don't know why you wouldn't maximize your potential. Like, just get off Twitter then. Like, go over to Blue Sky, which is great. I'm on Blue Sky. But anyway, so he's trying to make money any way he can. So verification system one. The second thing, let's get into the money. He's trying to make money any way he can. Didn't a lot of the advertisers leave? I'm pretty sure, but he's trying to do it with these checks, and he's trying to, now it looks like, with the checks, he's trying to do it with the verification system. He's charging big organizations $1,000 to be verified. Like, are we this dependent on Twitter where these organizations are spending $1,000 for it? I guess so. I mean, like, you can criticize them, but if they're paying it, I mean, it's pretty smart businessman if everybody's going to play it. And he's trying to get Twitter out of debt. So I can't knock him there. I don't think what he's doing for the overall platform is good at all, but I understand the money-making part of it. But anyway, he just posted a tweet a minute ago. Let me get it. Oh, now they've got a new badge up here that says verified organizations. Oh, and you subscribe. Verified organizations is $1,000 per month, plus any tax. Each additional affiliate account is $50 per handle. So if, like, CNN wants to get their organization verified, I think they pay $1,000. And then to verify each additional journalist or reporter or anchor, it's $50 per one to have a check. So the checks are now just about the money, which is funny in itself. So anyway, he just posted a tweet, and I'm going to read this to what he said, like, literally 5 minutes ago. Where he said, oh, now he's got another one up there. I'm going to retweet that because this is important stuff for those of us who are on Twitter. The one he just posted was here's Elon. On this platform, unlike the one-way street of broadcast, people are able to interact, critique, and refute whatever is said. And of course, anything misleading will get community notes. I also want to be clear that we have not signed a deal of any kind whatsoever with, he's referring to Tucker Carlson, who announced he's starting a show on Twitter today. Tucker announced today he's starting a show on Twitter. Tucker is subject to the same rules and rewards of all content creators. Rewards means subscriptions and advertising revenue share coming soon, which is a function of how many people subscribe and the advertising views associated with the content. That's good. So he's okay. I hope that many others, particularly from the left, also choose to be content creators on this platform. Okay? So he's trying to do this for content creators, which I actually like. Um, I applied for subscriptions probably a month ago, and they still haven't approved. It's just pending. So when are we going to approve? Like so can start making money because I gotta make money. I need the Elon make money. It's just have to. So he's trying to make it more for creators, and which I like, and do like that he said that about the left. He's listening to me. I talk to Elon all day long on Twitter. I send him tweets. He's liked my tweets before, so he is aware of me. Who knows how many he sees? I think more. I think quite a few actually. But I'm only criticizing because I care about Twitter. I want to emphasize that. Anyway, he said particularly from the left, so I do like that. The problem is, and this gets into the other point beyond money, is and now I'll get into some of the criticisms. Elon doesn't. There's something going on, like with when he's on Twitter and such. I don't understand why he is it's about 80 to 90% with more right wing accounts and far right accounts. Maybe 10 to 20% he acknowledges left. He likes the Krasenstein brothers. He likes them. That seems to be the one that he likes talking to. But he doesn't. There's not many more that he spends time talking to. He likes to talk to the right people. And what I don't get is if we're trying to create a platform that has some balance to it, like why does he not even try? Like why does he not try to make it 50-50? Like I'm not saying you need to be talking to the left 99% of the time. Why can't it even be just 50-50? Like why doesn't he do that? I genuinely don't know. And I've said it to him a million times in tweets, and I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall. The left has given him so many chances to talk to them, to be open. I like that he went and met with Chuck Schumer. That was good. But if he's going to tweet this much and be this involved as the owner, you have to be a little bit more open-minded as you're tweeting away and doing that. Because otherwise, one tribe party is just going to be like, this guy's just making Parler again, which is what it looks like. Because he tweets with the right. He sends out right-wing memes. He, giggles and I mean, it's total, just all drenched in Republican. And my dad's a Republican. Like it's, like I understand that, and I get it. I have some conservative views myself, but he doesn't seem to have the. I mean, right here he said, particularly from the left, great. He gets a +1. Met with Schumer, +1. But that has to be more ingratiated, and I wouldn't care. I wouldn't give a damn if he wasn't owner of Twitter. He can think whatever he wants. I probably wouldn't even care if he was owner of Twitter and if he wasn't tweeting, I wouldn't care. But he's tweeting and he's made it clear he's very actively involved in all of this. And if you're going to do that, you better not be so political and so one-sided, which he absolutely is. Go look at how much he interacts with the right compared to the left, and that's all you need to look at. If he's going to be that one-sided, one side is going to leave, and then you're just going to have a right-wing platform again. So I get he's trying here and there, but he's got to do it more. More. Okay? So props to him for doing that. And then he goes and he gets Tucker Carlson. And he said that, they didn't sign a contract. Tucker's just doing it as a creator. Fine. But, Tucker, and I tweeted this, I don't know, a week ago. Tucker has a long standing reputation of, as we all know, being right-wing, just right-wing to far right-wing, just kind of all in the, he's more like Republican, kind of a little, sometimes far-right, Trump, all that stuff. If you're trying to form a system of balance with Twitter, it's not a good look to suddenly be paired with Tucker Carlson. Okay? It's not a good look because Tucker Carlson is not someone who is seen as a neutral, more kind of just, or left wing or any of that. Like you want more balance than that. Now he didn't pair. It looks like Elon tweeted this today because Tucker posted that, and so Elon smartly, actually, this tweet happened as I was getting on, tweeted that to make clear that he didn't sign a deal with him, because if he makes it too much the Tucker Carlson show, it's the end of Twitter, and I've tweeted that too. There has to be more balance to it than that. Now I've gone over to Blue Sky, and so those are some of the core points. I've gone over to Blue Sky, and I have an account there, and Jack Dorsey is there, former Twitter owner, and a lot of others. And because it's got Jack Dorsey behind it, he's actually, I think is he one of the founders? What is he? It gives that platform a lot more credibility than all these other ones that have been created, just because of Jack Dorsey, because he did this once with Twitter. It's credibility. So that should worry Elon. That should concern him. Like, all sincerity, that should concern him, because if it becomes one-sided, it's doomed, and it's already that way. I mean, it's headed that way. I mean, he would have to do some backpedaling, but it's not looking good. If the big news organizations leave, it's over. It's like good night. Because in my opinion, and he says this community notes thing, which I don't love community notes either, and I'll get into that in a second. But the news organizations, Twitter, in my opinion, has always been a news-oriented platform. So that's been the core of it. And this is another criticism, is if it's a news-oriented platform and you come on as owner and you criticize the news a lot, and you're Mr. Skeptical, which is a big Republican thing. Republicans are skeptical of everything, and Democrats tend to believe everything. And so you got to go against you got to fight that, because that is not, it's equally wrong to always believe the news as it is to always be skeptical of the news. Both are wrong. So Elon is way too overly skeptical of especially the news things. The news has truth in it. There's something as he calls truth. They're not always lying to you. They're not always manipulating you, as he tweeted this morning. You have to have a balance. Some will be fake, some's real. So you got to be able to get into the nuance of things, especially as the owner of Twitter. And coming in and criticizing all the news, that's not a good look, because these news organizations have been around a long time, and I get that we're trying to help the independent, like me and others, but that's not going to happen overnight. And the news organizations, they still exist, and so if they leave, you're just going to be left with a bunch of creators and independents trying to get their voice out. And honestly, a lot of creators and independents don't have the credibility. Not everybody is, I mean, who are the biggest in the world? Joe Rogan, those types. So he's putting too much of his money in one pot with the betting on creators. I like that he's betting on creators, but you got to be careful to keep the platform balanced. You gotta walk it back. Go forward. I mean, it's just balance. Twitter, another way of putting things is, it's like a court. It's like a court of law, like the justice system, or like an athletic playing field. If you're the referee, if you start favoring and showing team spirit 80 or 90% to one, you're not doing a very good job. If he wants the platform to be a public town square for all, and he's 80 to 90% of the time talking to right-wing people, guess what? He's failing in his mission. Because the other people who disagree with you are going to leave. if you're posting memes with stuff they don't agree with, if you're talking to people they don't like, if you're, and I'm not saying he can't talk to anyone else. Everybody can talk to whoever they want, but at least keep it balanced. I'm not saying censor that. I'm saying keep it balanced. It doesn't seem, I don't know why he doesn't, I'm surprised he doesn't like get that totally. I mean, I've seen him go to Chuck Schumer. I've seen him post this. He's interacted with Obama recently. I saw him respond to something there, and the Krasensteins. So, I mean, you know, he can do better. He can do a lot better. So that's that. As far as community notes, okay. So a lot of the here's the other thing: independents and Republicans. Did Musk say he's Republican? He said he's voting Republican. I think, which okay. But you know, he says he's more neutral because he supports climate. Supporting climate doesn't make you a Democrat. Okay, it doesn't make you a Democrat any more than like, I'm trying to think of an example. You know, there's a lot of Republicans that are for climate. You know, so that doesn't count. I mean, so the the point that I would get to is with this community notes that he now has. It's a system where everybody can go in and look at a tweet that's controversial and then weigh opinions and then decide the opinions for themselves and such. There has to be, like, that's fine, but first of all, a lot of the left doesn't necessarily care about Twitter right now, and a lot of them have left. And so if a lot of the people that have left don't like community notes, or if a lot of people, like half of the public, has either left to go to another app or doesn't care about community notes much, let's say 90% of them doesn't care, maybe 80% of them doesn't care about community notes, what's going to happen to the community notes? They're all going to be one-sided. And then Elon's going to see them because he's one-sided, and he's going to think, oh, that's right. Bias is a son of a... Like, bias will get you every time. So community notes is doomed right now. As long as as long as the left is unhappy, it's doomed. Because it's going to be weighted heavily one way. The tweets aren't going to go the right way. I've seen already people calling this out. I haven't looked in details, but I saw, like, is it Mehdi Hassan? I don't know. I botched that name. But he's called it out. There's been others that have called these out. So that's gotta... The community notes doesn't work until he has a balanced platform. Because if 20% of the left is commenting on them and 80% of the right, guess what's going to happen to the community notes? Yeah, they're all going to be parlor people solving them, and that doesn't do us any good. FYI. So that's that. He's got to fix that. You know, one thing. I mean, there's different things you could do. You could. I mean, courts do like juries. You know, you could have a balanced group of people that you rotate in that decide on these things that come from all areas of life. You know, not just right-wing people giving right-wing opinions because they think they're right, but you know, they're not. Like, you have to have a balance. Okay, the left is right about some things, the right is right about some things. You have to have discussion. If one side isn't participating, one side's going to be doing all the talking, and they're going to think they're all right about everything because they're biased. So let's make that clear. So that's that on that. So community notes is a mess currently, in my opinion. He should bring Periscope back. That would be a big help. Make it easier for creators. He should... I don't know what's taking them so long on subscriptions. I mean, this is still... When did I even... I don't know. I submitted it a month ago. And, you know, it still says applications submitted. So, I mean, I'm going to be over it soon because it's taking too long. I mean, that's a long time. And I want to start making money. I want to start making more money on it. So those are some of my criticisms. Did we miss anything? They might be all. If I think of more, I will tweet them. But it's been 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up here. I want you to know that I'm critical of Elon only because I care about Twitter. and I want it to succeed and not just become Parler 2, which is the direction it's headed in. I only do these things because I care. And if you are a fan of Musk and you're just agreeing with everything he says, you're doing him a disservice because he's only going to get better from criticism and learning from people, just like I learn from people, just like other people learn from people. And he's not doing that right now enough of it, which I'm surprised about, honestly. So try harder, Elon. I want Twitter to succeed. I'm supportive of all his other companies. I think he's a brilliant engineer and scientist. But he needs to consult with some people about Twitter, because I don't think this is his best area. And he's very participatory in it. If he was just the owner sitting back, I'd be less hard on him. But he's kind of shooting himself in the foot with these things because he's not listening enough to opinions he doesn't want to hear. You know? When he says woke mind virus. Why doesn't he call, set a meeting. Set a meeting with he should be setting a meeting with I don't know, someone strong. Set a meeting with AOC. Have her in. Tell her that you consider everything going on the woke mind virus. And can you explain to me why it's the... Can you explain to me from your perspective, AOC, why do I think that it's the woke mind virus? Like, why am I thinking, like, what is it from your point of view? And you start talking, and maybe when you start talking, you'll learn some things that you didn't know or that you don't see, and that causes growth. So I'm hopeful Elon does more of that, more of the Chuck Schumer. And by the way, if it was only all the way far left and he was that out and about, I mean, Jack Dorsey didn't ever tweet about politics, and it was still like in a development phase. The news was growing on it. It was a different world 4 years ago. But now it's different. So he's got to make more of that effort to talk to people. I would say the same if it was somebody like on the left being this way. Otherwise, it's just going to become one way. There's a lot of people going to blue sky. That's what I got today. I'm going to come on here more and talk more. Johan, it's good to see you. I'm finally back. You say you don't use Twitter. Stream Elements. Same here. Oh, you got kicked off in 21 and you haven't been the same since? Well, glad you're back. I used to do videos on Mandela Effect a few years ago, but I think I ran out of Mandela Effects. I did like 300 Mandela Effects or more. My YouTube channel's on this. You'll see it when I sign off. It's below here, below my live stream. Jeffrey Pilkington. I've got like 170 videos or something up there, and 100 of them are Mandela Effect. It's kind of cool. I like the Mandela Effect. When I try to explain what it was, the crowd, they didn't like that opinion. I thought it's just false memories, meaning we're all dumber than we think. Mandela Effect's just false memories, but people like to pretend it's a parallel universe thing. But so if you think that, that's your opinion. Okay. Anyway, check me out. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Those handles are below. I'm going to try to be on here more. I promise. And have a good day, y'all. See you soon. Peace.